starting with this, the Northern Cape Premier, Zamani Saul, has been implicated in a COVID-19 tender scandal by a newspaper report. Reports suggest that the wife of the Premier's special advisor was awarded a 13 million rand tender to supply the police with masks. The Northern Cape has recorded over 10,000 COVID-19 cases and 120 deaths. For more on that, we are joined by the Premier, Zamani Saul, who joins us via Zoom in reaction to that particular story. So, Premier, there's an allegation here that was published in the newspapers, Times Live reporting on it, and the Sunday Times reporting on it as well, and it relates to two figures. Let's start with the one I imagine is easier to deal with. Somandla Sibisi, a man who was given various contracts through a company called Macronym 37, up to 26 million rand, I think, from the report that you have issued out as a provincial government. What's your relationship with Somandla Sibisi?
I don't have any personal, business or professional relationship with him. It's just one of the business people I know in Kimberley, and there's no other relationship beyond that between the two of us. And I think it would be important for me to mention that the report, which was published by the Department of Health and all other departments, including Treasury, on procurement of COVID-19 related goods, it was on my instruction. I actually instructed Treasury that we should publish a detailed report that gives a full account of each and every procurement that took place in the project. And I'm certain if you give you an opportunity to go through the report by the Northern Cape, it's more detailed than a report of any other program. So if I got my hands involved in COVID-19 related procurements, why would I demand such a report and publish it?
And Premier, the other story is that this man, Somandla Sibisi, is actually very close to the ANC in general and ANC leadership. That this is someone that's well known to you, saying that you're not friends with him, but would you say that he is well connected in the ANC, in that he is either a member of the ANC and also someone who is associated with the top leadership of the ANC in the province?
I won't be able to confirm his membership of the ANC, but he's been attending most of the ANC events, like the January 8th events, our fundraising events. He's been attending those events. The issue of his membership is something that I will have to confirm, but if he's a member of the ANC, that is also something that will give us another avenue in actually tackling this matter, because the NEC over the weekend came up with a very strong unequivocal message around issues of corruption, particularly by ANC members and ANC employees.
All right, let's turn to the issue around Mandisa Shushu, who is the wife of your special advisor, Norman Shushu. Premier, Norman Shushu is not just, an advisor. He's not a Thulasizwe Simelane here. You're talking about someone who is a senior politician in his own right. Just from what we know about how Mandisa Shushu benefited by way of getting a contract with the SAPS, doesn't that bother you that the family member of a senior ANC politician who serves as your special advisor, that her name and her company would come up in this way?
Listen, this is a very difficult matter. Let me first explain that the alleged tender, which is said to have been received by Mandisa Shushu, is by the South African Police Services. And that's a national competence. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the province. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the management of the police as a province. It's national competency. So there is no way that my office, I see the writer strenuously tries to bring that to the point that I could have influenced that process. There is no way that I could have been able to influence that.
In the writer's defense, Premier, I don't think that's what he suggests at all. I read the article. I think what he's trying to highlight are issues of conflict of interest, where a senior public servant who is your special advisor, senior politician in his own right, has family members doing business with the state. I don't see anywhere where he tries to link you directly to say you influenced the tender.
If he says Zamani is fingered, Zamani, the Northern Cape Premier, is fingered in these two tenders, that's actually what he implies. That I had a role to play as a Premier of the province. That's what he implies, and nothing else. So, but let me just explain this issue of Mr. Shushu. Mr. Shushu is a senior advisor in my office, is the provincial secretary of the Communist Party in the province. His wife is somebody she's a business woman. She's somebody who's involved in business. So she saw opportunities with the South African Police Services. She submitted her things, she got the tender, and I don't see why does that have anything to do with it. The only time it will have anything to do with it is when somebody comes with an allegation and says, the wife of your senior advisor bought a tender from the South African Police Services illegally, and your senior advisor was involved in it. Then, if somebody comes with that allegation to me, then I will have to do something about it.
It's a bit of a cop-out, Premier, let me suggest to you, because I would ask you, have you asked Norman Shushu the tough questions as his boss to say, what are the circumstances under which your wife has been doing business with the state, raising that prospect of conflict of interest? How different is this case from the case around Khusela Diko, for example? It's the same arguments we've been having, and I would have thought you, of all people, with your reputation and your standing, you would understand these things.
There's nobody who accused the president of being involved in a fraudulent scandal. So it can be, if you say it's the same, it can be that I get accused of it because of a wife of a senior advisor of me. Nobody. I've never had anybody accusing the president of being involved.
No, Premier, we are getting sidetracked. I'm not suggesting that anyone has accused the president of being involved in the issue around the Dikos. I would hope that the president did ask Khusela Diko the questions about the understanding of conflict of interest. So the question relates then to you to say, I would imagine, and I'm asking myself and I'm asking you, have you asked Norman Shushu the questions for him to explain the circumstances around which his wife has been doing business with the state? Because we all know that the political influence peddling doesn't leave a paper trail. It's not something that we can say, show me the amount of influence that was exercised to ensure that the bid adjudication committee, bid evaluation committee awards this tender to this particular person over other people. We can't prove that. It's precisely that way, designed that way, that it's political influence peddling that cannot be proven whenever it happens. So I would imagine that you would have asked Norman Shushu the tough questions, did you?
No, we issued a statement yesterday. In that statement, we actually explained that I spoke to him about it. As soon as I picked up this matter on social media platform, I phoned him and we met to discuss the matter. And let me tell you what he said to me. He said as soon as this matter got to his attention, the issue of PPE procurement involving his wife, he instructed his wife to terminate it. And he gave me guarantees that his wife has terminated that contract. She never made any delivery to SAPS, and there was no payments that were made by SAPS to their wife, to his wife. That is the guarantee he gave me. He even said to me, if you don't believe me in what I'm telling you, I give you a leeway to approach SAPS to confirm what I told you. There was no deliveries made, no payments made to her. She terminated her engagement in this platform. That's the report that we gave.
Lastly, Premier, I want to get your take on what transpired at the National Executive Committee meeting of the ANC. Your views on corruption are well known. In fact, in response to the allegations that have been made in your province, you've described the issue of looting as piggish behavior. And we are seeing President Cyril Ramaphosa saying that he will subject himself to the Integrity Committee of the ANC, and the Secretary General of the ANC will also do the same. But that was preceded by, a bit of toing and froing, with letters being written from across the aisle, from across the factional divide of the ANC. Do you believe that what came out of the NEC meeting will see a turnaround? Can we have confidence in this particular Integrity Commission processes that these two officials will subject themselves to, or will this continue to be an issue over which the ANC is deeply divided?
No, I think the Secretary General will give a report on the NEC that took place yesterday. But my attitude of what actually happened in the National Executive Committee, that the NEC of the ANC have reached a point where the issue of discussions on corruption, we should not engage in this matter to a point of paralysis. There should be action where there are instances of corruption that have been reported. There should be decisive action, and those who have been found to be on the wrong side of the law must take its course, and the organization must also respond to those men. That's what I think I found to be very much important. The issue of the President and the Secretary General going to the Integrity Commission that actually assert the standing and the authority of the Integrity Commission. Because the Integrity Commission is meant to be the living conscience of the movement. It's not about the guilt or innocence. It's about your conduct and its impact on the revolutionary image of the organization. So I think the fact that the President and both the Secretary General will be there, it asserts the authority of the Integrity Commission. It actually gets the Integrity Commission into a phase where its role would be highly appreciated within and outside the ANC.
All right, Premier Zamani Saul, thank you for your time this morning. It's a pity the audio is not so great. Would have wanted to engage you a bit further more on issues to do with the ANC. That's Premier Zamani Saul there, responding to Weekend Reports, the Sunday Times there, with their reporting around the issue of issuing of tenders to one of his special, the wife of his special advisor. Norman Shushu's wife is Mandisa Shushu. The Premier saying that this had absolutely nothing to do with him, and the tender was a national tender in as far as the SAPS is concerned.